Okay, we are motherfucking back. It has been a long hiatus, but I do have the man, the myth, the legend, Peter Kell here. And someone just asked me a very interesting question. My buddy Ash asked me a very interesting question. And I think it's the perfect time to bring Pete on for this exact question. He doesn't know what it is, but it has to do with this on the screen. I'm going to cover up the question right here. I'm going to get Pete over.
Okay, what's the question?
All right, hold on. It is this. We were just talking about this yesterday.
Make me bigger. I want to be bigger. I want to be bigger.
You're fucking gigantic. I want to be bigger. You're fucking like... There we go.
Okay.
Come on.
I can read it.
So media buyers both pushing the same product, but one account performing well. Oh shit! I didn't know you could do that.
I can be bigger.
I didn't know.
You look like a pussy.
I'm fucking retarded. All right. Wait. You want to get a chair?
Go. No, okay.
Okay. So this is the question. So media buyers both pushing the same product, but on a different account, performing well, and the other one isn't. The not performing media buyer says, "Oh, the other guy's account is taking all the sales." How do you handle that? So I wasn't going to dive into how to handle that specific thing, but I will say Pete and I were in the car yesterday just talking about dealing with media buyers specifically and the problems that they all have, they all create, the ego, and the just massive destruction that a team of media buyers have when they're not working together. Do you remember this conversation yesterday?
I remember that. Yeah,
you remember? Okay. So it is absolutely catastrophic what media buyers can like cannibalize on each other, and then the entire company just hates itself, and then it just all goes down. Back in the day, when it was just when media buying companies would do a bunch of different niches, so like you'd have a media buying team on muscle, a media buying team on diet, a media buying team on dick pills. Now, everyone kind of does the same thing, even if it's like lead gen. Like, you're not going to have a media buying team on auto and then a media buying team on Medicare and then a media buying team on AC. They kind of all do the same thing. Like, the companies are concentrated. So you get, essentially, a lead generation media buying company that only does auto. So how do you fix it when they're saying, oh, it's because this guy has my creative and he's on a wrong account or anything like that? There's got to be a way to kind of deal with the media buyers so they understand that everyone is on the same mission and moving the boat forward in the same direction. Do you
they gotta make more fucking ads.
That's your thing, make more ads?
What are you gonna do, bitch?
Well, okay, you bitched.
You only have two options. You have bitching or you have make better fucking ads.
But what if you have a creative team that is making the ads for them and they're just launching these ads? I mean, on this specific instance...
Well, then the account's not warmed up, or it's not something's wrong with the pixel, or they set it up fucking wrong. I mean, it's such a... Like, it's just... Bitching is the only option. Just make more ads.
No, I mean, on this specific instance, I would say, dude, get a chair.
They can just make more ads.
Okay. We're gonna touch on what you said yesterday. But on this specific instance, I would say that they need to get a new account, right? Some accounts perform like absolute dog shit, so you just get a new account. And then, but you can't say, unless you're spending $500,000 a day, you can't say that the one media buyer is stealing all the sales.
Yeah, it's just a massive planet.
Yeah.
That's just a stupid limp dick fucking thing to say.
That is a stupid limp dick fucking thing to say. But Pete said something yesterday, and I'll maybe I'll have to delete this after, but I don't know. But he basically said his ultimate goal was to make money. And he was involved. No, in this specific instance, and your ultimate goal was to make money. There was an account that was working well that wasn't yours. No, sorry, there was a.
Story.
There was an account. I don't want to go into too much details because I'll let you. You want to just kind of breach on the subject because the end result was I could have made more money if I did this.
Yes. So this is the lesson on greed. This is the only greed lesson I really learned. I and my friend Dennis had worked together to make a banging VSL for the foot and soles. I would make a variation, then he would make a better variation, then I would make a better variation. We had this back and forth, and then we cracked a massive campaign, but unfortunately his account got banned and mine didn't get banned, and I wanted a McLaren. So I just decided to blast it at Mach speed, and I bought a McLaren, and I didn't really pay him any money because my ego got too big, and I thought that I did it all on myself, but reality, I did it with him. So my goal was to make as much money as possible in that scenario and get my McLaren. But what was retarded was that to make the most money as possible, actually me and Dennis working together over the long period of time would have made me way more money. And because I just got greedy, which is the feeling that there's not enough to go around, so you better take as much as you can right now, overwhelmed me, and that caused me to basically take all the money, and then we lost our relationship, and then things started to get resentful and animosity, and the vibe got off, and then that's when the whole e-gear, I at least fell out of the e-gear scene after that. So that's a stupid idea. You make the most money when you work with a team for the long run.
Yes. So that was a caveat to when I read this. I just wanted Pete to retell that story because I remember it vividly, like all the argument and everything. And at the end of the day, like it's very difficult as a business owner. And I know Pete, when he moved on and he had his own media buying operation, it's very difficult as a business owner to know like should the comp plan be. And I can safely say there is no comp plan to pay a media buyer that is correct. Every way you do it is going to be wrong. The media buyers are going to want more money. You're going to want more money. There's never a right way. I mean, we started a long time ago paying 50%. Absolutely not. You can't do that because at the end of the day, as a business owner, you're going to end up making like 30%.
I don't know why they did that to me.
Yeah. That was bad. I mean,
they were my test subject.
So, and then if you go if you go big salary and small commission, then you don't get the guys who are going to work 24 hours a day.
That's gay.
The guys who work 24 hours a day are commission only. But if you get commission only, those guys, when you ask them to get a coffee, they're like, "You're not my boss." And you're like, "Bro, you're going to get your own coffee. Can you just get me one?" Like the ego that comes around commission only is you get, "Oh, they're my partner," and you're like, "No, like." You're not my partner. Like, I'm paying you commission to do all these things, and I have employees that are doing all these things. They're not your employees. It's a totally different dynamic. But I think in this instance, and I'm waiting for Ash to call me. He said he was getting on a plane to London. I'm waiting for him to call me so I can figure out how to deal with this specific instant, because I don't know what his employees' comp plans are. I don't know how they divvy up the creatives. I don't know any of those things. But instantly when he said this, I was like, oh my God, if there's anything on the planet that I am an expert in, it is dealing with media buyers and their comp plans and their egos and what happens when they fight and what happens when they don't fight. That is like my absolute expertise. And then I remember Pete told the story yesterday, and I was like, okay, let's jump on and make a YouTube. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, say,
no, that's
subtract?
nice. That's nice.
This is a good little lesson that we've taught here for 7 minutes.
That's a good little lesson. What was the lesson?
I think the lesson is don't get fucking greedy. And actually, we didn't even go into, like, how do we get...
Well, the lesson is definitely teamwork makes the dream work. The comp plans came out of nowhere.
Well, no, I mean, I can't answer this question without comp plans. Like, how do you answer how to deal with this question without
thought that was like an
comp
account
plans?
issue.
No, the media buyer is bitching that the other media buyer is doing well and taking all his sales.
Oh, yeah, because so they're both eat what you kill wolves. Right? If there's two eat what you kill wolves and one wolf kills the food and eats it first, the other wolf's starving, so they're both going to bitch. So there has to be a percentage of team profits. On my team operation, I had 18% profit plus 7% team split profit. So the team would split. That created more of a friendly environment where people can share ideas. Because if you eat what you kill, nobody wants to share where they found the kills.
Yeah, I actually had I had the big problem when everyone was just eat what you kill, and then when you had left and I had the whole team was eat what you kill, and I actually presented the problem to Sal at First Form, who's the CEO of First Form, and he basically said, and I wrote a Twitter about this, he said, just put everyone on a shared comp plan. And I was like, they will never do this. It will never happen. I have some guys who make $100,000 a year. I have some guys who make $100,000 a month. It will never, ever happen. And he goes, well, make it happen. And sure enough, I was flying back on the plane that day, and I just looked, and I was like, okay, how could this ever happen? How could I present this to anyone? And when I looked at the numbers, every single guy was within like 50 grand of the year with each other. And I was like, how could this possibly be? I know guys that make 100 grand in a single month. Well, the problem is those guys were like a fucking roller coaster. They'd make 100 grand in a month and then nothing for 3-4 months. And then the other guy would be making 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month, something like that, right? The other guys were consistent, and these other guys were like bangers. They'd pull out like 250K in a month and then nothing ever since that. So when I presented the idea of them all doing a shared plan, they said, absolutely not. Someone makes more money than the others. I presented that was not true, and then we all had a team comp plan, and it actually worked pretty fucking well for a very long time.
Yeah, I just feel like the team affiliate business model sucks balls. In that a branded model is way better, because then then like, when you have one lead media buyer and they're incentivized equity with the company, then another media buyer jumps on. I mean, that media buyer, he is joining because he's got a cool purpose. The problem with that situation is that's only a money play. If you have more of a purpose play, like you're doing good to the world, people will join and they get fulfilled by the good they're doing to the world, and they take less money.
I agree. The brand, when you own a brand, I mean,
that's the problem with the affiliate models. It's just make rich,
and then you get the people who come in
and they want to get rich,
and then they fucking leave, or they all think. And you even said before, you're like, I thought it was all me when it was team effort, and that I think I had every fucking media buyer that I have ever had, including myself. They get into this thing where they know absolutely nothing, and then they go into this meteoric rise, and they forget that you taught them how to do this. You taught them how to do this. You brought someone in to show them this. They forget that there was a lot of people helping them to get to that top. And then once they get there, they're like, oh, I did it all myself. I don't need anyone else. And then they leave. And then a lot of times it just doesn't. I mean, I would say almost no times it works out when they leave if they stay affiliated.
It didn't work out for me.
I
got wrecked over a long period
I can't think of anyone who left to start their own thing where it worked out for them. I know, others that left that started that were on other teams worked. But doing your own affiliate play rarely works out just because it all ends the same way. But branding, you're absolutely right. When you're branding, you can have someone that you join people on the team that are locked into the vision, and the vision is more than just let's make a fuck ton of money.
Yeah, that's like Mind Valley, right? The purpose is so strong, and they're uplifting the world from their point of view so amazingly that they will take $3,000 a month endlessly, but they have a nice culture and a nice office and a nice place to go, and their life's really great, and they got tons of friends, they're socializing all the time, and they're cared for, and they're appreciated, and they're getting recognized. When you pay them in recognition, it changes everything about the dynamic, and they have passion there.
For sure.
They like it.
Yeah, I mean, culture and being nice and appreciating people is definitely goes a long way. I mean, I know that I have a lot of work to do with that, but I do my best.
Right. But like, if somebody left your thing, they wouldn't have a sick office with a ton of people having a blast every single day there.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're leaving a lot behind when they decide to move on.
Yeah. So I think we covered a lot of random things.
There's a lot of random things, yeah.
I know that Ryan wants us to be on his little podcast YouTube-y thing, and he asked some hard-hitting questions.
See, next time, because then we can actually just be here and talk.
See, I don't know these things. I didn't know that you could
There was no point of us just showing Ash's
I didn't know that you could do this.
We're the fucking characters.
I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah, they're just a button right.
Okay, next time we will do that. Why don't we figure out some topics?
Okay, shoot some topics below. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Do we high five now? Do we
high
shake?
Five.
Do we do? Okay, we high five. Okay, cool.
Let's go.
All right, now we stop.